The writing process. Hello, future teacher. Welcome to your ultimate guide on mastering the writing process. This video will help get you totally prepared for your teacher certification exam, and in it, we'll cover the initial scribbles of young learners all the way to their first structured essays. Ready to get started? Let's jump right in and begin with the developmental stages of writing. For your teacher certification exam, be on the lookout for questions that ask about how young children first express their thoughts. Understand that before they ever pick up a pencil to write, they communicate through drawings. Furthermore, note that a child's drawing is their first step toward communicating ideas visually. Look for answer solutions on test day that encourage these detailed drawings. Now, if you receive a question on test day that asks why these early drawings are important to a child's writing process, know that they develop fine motor skills and are foundational in linking visual thoughts to storytelling. Next up, we have dictation. As children's oral language skills blossom, they begin to dictate their stories, which is when the teacher writes and the child speaks. This stage serves as a bridge from drawing to writing, allowing children to focus on developing their language without the physical challenge of writing. When taking your exam, if you receive a question that asks about effective instructional strategies for dictations, find the answer option where the child demonstrates structured and clear thoughts during dictation sessions. This is the sign that children are ready to start writing on their own. Now, let's talk about the writing stage. This is where the real magic happens. Here, children begin to write words and sentences, initially using a mix of conventional and invented spelling. It's a fascinating phase where literacy skills begin to solidify. As a teacher, your role is to help children apply their understanding of phonetics, grammar, and vocabulary to communicate effectively through written text. Here's a big one. On the exam, understand that we as teachers assess our students' use of phonetic spelling through their ability to match sounds to letters, recognize word boundaries, and form coherent sentence structures. Now, let's help you get 100% prepared for test day by covering the stages of the writing process. To do so, we'll start with pre-writing. This is the brainstorming stage where all writing begins. Here, writers gather ideas and start to form an outline in their minds. Encourage techniques like mind mapping, listing, or free discussions. Moving on to planning, where writers organize their scattered ideas into a coherent structure. If your exam asks you an effective strategy for helping students pinpoint the beginning, middle, or end of a story, look for answer options where the teacher uses visuals and scaffolds, such as outlines or storyboards. Now let's focus on the drafting stage, as it will likely appear on your exam. In this stage, know that drafting entails allowing students to freely put down their initial ideas without worrying about correctness or precision. If your exam asks you to select the most appropriate strategy for encouraging free writing, look for answer options that suggest allowing students to express their thoughts fluidly without interruption, such as providing prompts that inspire creativity or setting a timer to keep the writing flowing. Next up is the revising stage, where the focus shifts to improving the clarity and detail of the initial drafts. For exam questions related to revising strategies, choose answers that involve asking students to refine their drafts by reorganizing their content for better flow, enhancing descriptions, or clarifying vague points. Effective strategies might include peer review sessions, where students can get feedback, or using checklists that guide them to ask critical questions about their own work. Next is the editing stage, and this is all about correcting grammatical, spelling, and punctuation errors. On the exam, if you're faced with selecting the best editing practices, check for answers that highlight teaching students to use grammar check tools, proofread their work in stages, or engage in peer editing workshops where they can learn to spot and correct errors in each other's texts. Finally, we've made it to the publishing stage. This is where students are encouraged to share their finished work. The exam might test your knowledge of how to effectively facilitate this process. Look for answer options that include organizing classroom presentations, publishing students' work on a school website or a class bulletin board, or even creating a class book that showcases various writings. Each of these options demonstrates an understanding of how to celebrate and validate students' efforts in writing. For your teacher certification exam, be ready to tackle the modes of writing section, which will demonstrate your ability to guide students in effective communication. Here's how to approach this section. First up, we have narrative writing. Understand that narrative writing is centered on storytelling. It is characterized by elements like plot, characters, setting, and conflict. When faced with exam questions about narrative writing, choose answers that emphasize creating engaging stories with a clear beginning, middle, and end. Look for strategies that involve using vivid descriptions and character development to captivate readers. Second, we have expository writing, which is designed to inform or explain. This mode relies heavily on facts, logical organization, and clear presentation. If you receive a question on test day that asks you to identify the best methods for teaching expository writing, find the answer option that highlights the use of outlines to structure information. Furthermore, if there is an answer option that integrates various types of evidence, such as charts, graphs, and statistics to support the written content, that's more than likely the solution you're looking for. Ready for more? Great! The third stage is called argumentative writing, which aims to persuade the reader to accept a particular viewpoint through logical reasoning and evidence. For these questions, look for strategies that focus on developing a strong thesis statement, using credible sources for support, and structuring arguments in a coherent manner. Future teacher, I'm so proud of you. You're preparing for your teacher certification exam, and if you found this video, you are definitely in the right spot. Kudos to you because you've just completed a full walkthrough of the writing process. But don't stop here, because this is only the video lesson. If you're not already logged into your account, now it's time to visit teacherpreps.com and check your readiness for test day by taking the writing process practice test. Thanks for staying tuned, and I'll see you in the next lesson.